WWE sets up Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins team up for WarGames and teases epic Bloodline reunion. Last week's WWE SmackDown ended in our hopeful moment for Roman Reigns and the original Bloodline, which had a full reunion, the Honorary Uce Sami Zayn. Tonight, though, it was back to business, as the newly reunited group had to find one more ally to join them in their battle against solo Sikoa's Bloodline. It wasn't going to be easy already, but things got even more complicated when Sikoa's group got their fifth person in the form of powerhouse Bronson Reed. Reed's presence and the group's need for a fifth member teased up Seth Rollins to join the squad. But Reigns didn't call Rollins. Instead, he called the Wiseman Paul Heyman, but Heyman wasn't answering. The night started out with Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn looking to find a fifth person for the WarGames team. Zayn then said he might know someone and found LA Knight, but Knight declined the invitation. Everyone regrouped with Reigns when he got to the arena, but their conversation as cut short as Sikoa's Bloodline headed to the ring. Reigns and company would eventually confront them in the ring and start brawling, but at this point it was still 4-on-4, so things were even. That all changed when out of nowhere Bronson Reed came out and jumped in the ring. It wasn't clear who Reed was siding with initially, but then Reed made it clear when he slammed Reigns into the turnbuckle. Jey, Jimmy, and Sami would come to Reigns' aid, but with 5-on-4 it wasn't enough, and soon Reed would hit Reigns with a Tsunami to make a statement. It would seem that Sikoa's Bloodline now has their fifth member, and if so, the previously assumed 4 versus 4 format is out the window. As the segment was ending and Sikoa's group was leaving the ring, Jimmy told Roman he needed to make the call, and you weren't sure if that call was going to be to Seth Rollins or a certain Wiseman Paul Heyman. We would see later in the night that the call was to Heyman, as Reigns announced it as the phone started to ring. He was already smiling before the call went through, but then his expression changed when the call reached a dial tone and the absence of someone on the other end. The call didn't go through, as that number evidently doesn't exist anymore. So the question is, what on earth happened to Heyman since he got slammed through a table by Sikoa? When Reigns does get a hold of him, though, that reunion and the pop that will come with it will be epic. The other big question is in regards to who will be the fifth member of the OG Bloodline team. WWE could pull a fast one and bring in someone else to be a part of the Bloodline saga, but they could also look to the story's past and bring in Rollins. Rollins obviously has all sorts of history with the Bloodline and Reigns specifically, and that is rife with great material for stories. It would also make sense after Bronson's appearance tonight, as Rollins and Reed have been locked in a bitter feud for the past few months. That only continued Monday night on Raw, and with no definitive conclusion. Having Reed be the one that puts Rollins over the edge enough to team with his former enemies would be the perfect way to get him into the mix. If he does join Roman, it could set up a longer storyline down the road, as you have to assume Seth's main story will be with CM Punk on the road to WrestleMania.